We looked at how to do project meeting notes for single in a series, project task tracking, project charter, and other project resources, and how you keep it all related to the same project through the workspace. As we saw a little bit as I was demoing, the nice thing about Loop, in addition to it being a great place to collaborate, easy and pretty simple to use, are these connections with other Microsoft apps. And the key ones that I found to be really useful so far are Planner, as we talked about, Teams itself, and Outlook. So let me show you what I mean when I say they're easy to use with Teams and Outlook. So going back to our scenario where I've had this great kickoff meeting, very happy about it, I want to now communicate out with the team something after the meeting where I bring them back to this Loop page or get their feedback on some content or make sure the meeting notes match with what everyone else heard in the meeting. A good way to do that is actually share. And I want to share this as a Loop component. You can share it as a link to the page, and you'll just get a URL. And you do have the option to give access to all the whole workspace. But I want to share this as a Loop component. So I'll select that. And so I come back to my team about, say, Microsoft Planner, and I'm going to do a host and a channel in Teams. I particularly like my colleagues' feedback on the meeting notes or want them to update an item from the meeting notes. If I then just paste in my Loop component here, you saw it did that connection. I'm actually bringing in a portal or connection directly to the Loop component itself, and we can interact with it from here, the same way that we were seeing before, that you can interact with it live. And my colleague could say, this is not correct. The due date is May 15th. And once that has been brought into this app, anyone looking who has access, to this channel post in Teams could interact with the Loop page in the same way. They don't actually have to go to the Loop page. They don't have to go back to the meeting. They can type directly into here. Same idea for Outlook. So if I start a new email, let me pop it out so I can bring it over. This is my Outlook email. I'll send it to myself. Here are the meeting notes. Please update with your new. I can still do the same. I just still was doing Control V to paste into this email. And when that email comes through, or I will actually mail it to myself so you can see what it looks like when it comes through. When that email is received, there we go, there it comes, click on it. The email that I get, again, has that live Loop component. I don't have to respond to the email, I don't have to do anything else except type right into it and make a correction. Like, oh, whoever was typing into this was not being very careful. It will be in, or I'll add a little more information to those notes, but I haven't had to go anywhere else. I've been able to interact with this same set of information directly from Outlook because it's a Microsoft app that's integrated with Loop. So because you can do so much related to projects and keep things together and organized in a project workspace and have it integrated with all these other Microsoft apps that are really useful and probably ones you have to use a lot already for managing projects. That's why I've really started to lean on Microsoft Loop for project management. There are, however, some gotchas that I've come across, and I did want to call them out. They're things that I have found to actually come up as issues when you start working on more and more projects and are using Loop in a consistent way. One is that, unfortunately, there is no integration in the same way with premium plans in Microsoft Planner. If you have tried to connect one, you would have found this immediately. You can put the URL, like copy the link for the premium plan in your browser, and have that just be a URL on the loop page, but it's going to take you out to the plan. It is not integrated in the same way as the plan we were looking at today, which was a basic plan, the kind that is free to all Teams users to use. I've also found, we didn't look at this too much today, but there are page templates. And part of why I have not been using them is this limitation that we found on the functionality. Let me pull up the loop page again. There is, when you create a new page within a loop workspace, I want to create a new page, you'll get this button that says use a loop template. And there's some preset templates that are available everywhere. And some of these I've started with before. You can kind of decide if they're useful or not. But what if you have a page that you really like how you set it up, you think you'd like to use it again? I like the way I did this project charter. I would like to do it, I'd like to do another project the exact same way. You have the option to right click on this and say save page as a template. The limitation on this is I can only access this new template within this same project workspace, or within the same workspace. So if I went out and created another workspace for a different project, which is probably what I would do, I can't access the save template. So because of that, I haven't actually used this functionality very much, that I can't, it doesn't do me a lot of good to create a template here, but not be able to use it in any other workspace. Another loop gotcha, and these two are kind of related, I'll show them both. You cannot transfer ownership of a loop page. So if you take a look in loop and are trying to transfer things, or someone has left the company or is planning to leave and you need to have someone else owning those assets or managing them, there is no option to make a different person the owner than the original owner. So this is something to plan for as far as content migration and everything. If someone leaves your company and the account is deactivated and they were an owner of loop work pages, they will continue to exist. They don't go away entirely. You just don't have the power to delete them. Those old loop pages are going to hang around forever. And as we know, we often do want to clean up older things, and they're essentially going to be kind of orphaned without owners. So you need to work with your folks either to start removing pages or transferring content before they leave, or you can do a workaround as far as getting the actual content, because you will also find, in addition to not being able to transfer owners, you cannot move pages between workspaces. You can share them to an additional workspace. So if again, this is an example, I love this project charter, I would like to use this content again. I thought, well, I'll just add it to a new project workspace. I'm going to use it for another project here, for my test client. The issue is this doesn't create like a copy of this. It's just access to this page from this new workspace. So you can see it's got a little link here. That means it's linking back to a page from another source. And if I interacted with it and put some sort of update from new workspace and come back to my Project Orlando workspace, it will have updated from that new workspace too. So a lot of times when you're trying to reuse content or make copies, that's not what you want to do. You don't want to share one page to multiple workspaces, so you'll be able to change the page from all those workspaces. When I click on those dots, there is no move to. There's no move to option here. What we have found that can work is sharing something with an additional workspace and then making a copy within that workspace. So I'll show you what I mean. Same steps. I've got this project charter. I love it. I want to reuse it for another project. I'll go ahead and add it to the project workspace that I'm thinking of, like I already did, test client. That was added. Now when I go to test client, I see this shared linked thing. Oh, it did a second copy actually. I didn't know it would do that. That's interesting. As I said, if I type into it, I would see those updates. So I actually want to now click on the three dots and duplicate the page. This is the way to get a separate copy of the same content within a different workspace. So this is not linked back to that original. It's got the 2 on it. So now I can take this copy and actually update it how I want. New client project, update it, and then essentially use it as a template. And the old one will be untouched. So that's the workaround that I've heard of so far for not being able to move things. You could do something similar for transferring ownership. The person who will be the new owner could share the page to a new workspace and then make a copy of it, and they will be the owner of the copy. Not real clean and not ideal. So this is something that we're hoping that Microsoft will continue working on. Despite all this, we do find, that Loop is a great tool, as I said, using it more and more, and that's part of why we actually wanted to share some of the stuff we do with it and what we've learned. If you've got any questions, if you have stuff you want to share about how you're using Loop for project management, please add comments here on the YouTube channel. We've got lots of other videos here, Microsoft and project management in general, and we'd love to talk to you. So please check us out, and thanks for watching.